Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Season 8, Episode 4, What's Mine is Mine. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow me on my other social media platforms at Just Call Me Wah, and let's jump right into this video. Oh, she's wearing her glasses because I'm tired of editing and not noticing that I'm out of focus because I don't have my glasses on so I can see through my viewfinder, so now I have it on. So, you know, the green, it's part of life. Here we go. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow. Sit still, boy, no need for static. Punched him in his belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The boy pulled out a gun and said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel headed straight for the cop's kidneys. Sometimes Slick Rick is that tongue twister. The first couple that we are going to talk about is Natalie and Mike, because they keep giving them to us as the first couple of the episode. And it's like, why? I guess I just want to get the boring out of the way. So it is the next morning. Natalie has on a pink tracksuit and they are going to make breakfast. And Natalie mentions how cold it is about 3 to 4 times. It is cold in that trailer, but Mike's not cold. You know what I'm saying? He's got on a white t-shirt. He's perfectly comfortable. Now here's my deal with the cold, okay? She is from a very cold place. So if she is in the house complaining about the fact that it is cold inside and they do have some kind of heating system, then that means that Mike needs to step it up. Like, I understand that he is frustrated with her and that he is not going to give into her whims anymore and allow himself to feel bad about who he is trying to impress her. But at this point, come on, Chuck, you just need to buck up. You should have been prepared, let her know that it was cold. So he decides that he's going to make her American breakfast, which I was like, French toast? That must be confusing to a foreigner. Thought he was gonna make a decadent French toast, but girl, he just made a regular schmegular French toast. Real regular with some regular ass white bread. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like a thick cut of anything. It was just, wow. She stirs up some eggs. Now, I'm confused because I thought Natalie was vegan. And if you're a vegan, you don't eat any animal byproduct. And eggs are animal byproducts. So I'm not sure why she agreed to have the French toast. But they make the French toast together. They sit down and eat it. She is very strict with her diet because she has to keep that very fet, you know what I mean, figure as we hit our mid-30s, girl. Like, we just can't be eating any and everything. And I guess for her, it must be a slippery slope. So she said no to the syrup and just ate a dry ass French toast. And truthfully, if I'm gonna be honest about French toast that I love, French toast doesn't necessarily taste good without the syrup unless you add some kind of sweetener to the batter. But normally what you do is you just add a little vanilla, and that's not sweet. So she eats one bite of the French toast and is not with it. It just tastes very unhealthy and she has a hard time like swallowing it, literally. And he's just looking at her while he's just like pouring on the syrup, cutting it, and just like watching her eat some dry ass French toast. And so she has that one bite and that's all that she can do for the cameras. That's all she can do to show that she's grateful for this American breakfast. Homegirl gets up, goes into the refrigerator, pulls out a carrot, and then asks him where the potato peeler is so that she can clean it. And speaking of clean it, hold on, let's back up. She washed her eggs. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't wash eggs, because now that I'm thinking about it, perhaps we should. You never know what kind of germs are on the outside before you crack it open. But is she washing it because she gets like fresh eggs straight from a hen's butt? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, are those the kind of eggs that Brandon and Julia are eating on the Brandon Julia farm? Let's get back to it. So she pulls out a carrot, cuts the carrot, and says in her confessional that she just ate the carrot in the corner like a little bunny rabbit, and that's all she ate for breakfast. So I feel bad because if he knew she was vegan, there should be some other type of food in the refrigerator for her. He had no tea, he didn't have any fruits or vegetables or healthy food for her, and it's like, come on, Mike. Like, now you're being petty. You know what I'm saying? Just petty. She wants to know what she's gonna do all day, and he's like, I don't know, I have to work. This is what you signed up for. This is where we're at. This is my home. This is your life. I can show you how to ride those quads. Maybe you could like go around. And I'm just like, listen, as much as I am about exploring new terrain in the snow on a quad is not my idea of a good time, only because I've never ridden a quad. So if somebody were to teach me how to drive one and then like go somewhere and expect me to just like forage around, I would hurt myself. and I would be stuck someplace on this 38 acres of land. I mean, truthfully, she could get some good workouts in, but it's snow outside. Just snow. I don't know if it's the next day, but their next segment is them going into the town of Sequim, and she's very excited to get off the mountain. It is daytime now, so as they're driving down, she's seeing how beautiful it is, and all she keeps saying is, it's very woods. When do the woods end? And I'm just like, I get that you're a city girl. I get that concrete jungle city girl vibe. However, like, you've moved to Sequim. You've done some research because you know about a waterfall, so you're aware that you're just gonna be in the wilderness from now on. So as they're driving, he's like, yeah, there's no into the woods. And she's like, oh, and he's like, but what we can do is we can go to a little creek and we can do some, you know, rainbow trout fishing. And she's like, I don't understand those words. So he has to explain to her about the creek and about fishing. And she's like, do I have to do that? And he's like, well, I mean, you don't have to do that, but I mean, it is something for us to do, seeing as how you're going to be bored. And there's only so much you can do, you know? She's like, yeah, I can clean, I can put my clothes away, but after that, like, I'm done. They get down to Sequim and she is underwhelmed. She has not a feeling of like, oh, this is a cute town. Like, okay, she acts like he's taken her to, I don't know, the remains of Chernobyl. Like, it's very, like, the way she's looking at this small town, like, I get it if that's not your aesthetic and that's not what you want in life, but I mean, it's cute. I would be like, oh my God, these thrift stores, let me see what these nice clothes look like. Like, get you a camera, get a YouTube channel, girl, and discover Sequim. So she then asks, hey, there's this waterfall. I did some research. Let's go to it. And he's like, oh, that waterfall? That's like 2 or 3 hours away. And she's like, okay, can we do it this weekend? It's Sunday. So she wants to do it on Friday. And he's like, no, I can't because I get off work and I'd have to come back up the mountain to pick you up and then drive 3 hours. And that's just not going to work for me. And she's like, but, and he's like, yeah, if we're going to do it, let's make it a day. And she's like, but, and he's like, we don't have to do it this weekend. We can do it the following weekend. And she's like, I don't understand. You mean 2 weeks? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, no, Mike, please. No, that's not, please. I don't know how to drive. I can't go anywhere. You want me to just stay hunkered down for 2 weeks before we can go to this one waterfall? I understand her position. I can't help it. I understand her. That isn't my nephew. He's having one of his classes. This lady comes every day from 11 to 1 to go through his like colors, numbers, manners, clothing, all that stuff to help him, you know about dance. That's really it with them. At the last minute of their segment, she says that she needs space and time, and so she walks off towards the gas station. He comes up behind her, holds her, and is like, I need you to communicate with me. I need you to tell me what you're feeling. In the moment, she can't do that. So she says it in a confessional, and she just basically says, I don't think Mike understands my position and how I'm feeling, and I'm frustrated. So the next couple that we are going to talk about is, Brandon and Julia and Betty. Okay, now this is where dad gets a little tough and we forget that Brandon is 27, not 17. We start off this episode where they're still in DC and they're packing up, getting ready to go, and mom is, hey, time is a-ticking. Betty wants to get on that road and get back to the farm because she's got them animals to feed. She wants to get back, I'm pretty sure, before dark so that she can torture Julia. And then we do that. They hop in the car, they drive, and Julia is just in awe, looking left and right. She's really excited when she actually sees the farm. And she's like, where's the store? Can I walk there? And they're like, yeah, it'll take you about an hour. She's like, an hour? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get you a bike. And she's just like, gosh, where I lived before, I was in the center of everything, and okay, an hour, all right. So they hop out of the car and immediately take her onto the farm, and she's excited about it. She's like tearing up, and Brandon's really nervous because he wants her to love the farm as much as him and his parents do. They see the horses, they feed the goats, she's squealing and screaming and laughing and having seemingly a good time, and then Betty starts to drop some notes, you know what I mean? She's just smattering some expectations. Day, 3 or 4? And basically it's like, every morning you're gonna get up and you're gonna come to the hen house and you're gonna pull out the eggs. And Julia's like, okay. It's really weird that she's just telling me what I'm going to do, especially because Brandon talked to me about it, but he said, would I be willing to help? And I said, yeah, I'll be willing to help. Sometimes, like if you can't do it and you need me to put on some boots and galoshes and like get out there, but I don't know that I meant that I would be your indentured servant or like work on your farm for free. And this is where we get into this whole American's ideal that you should just be grateful that you are on American soil. And that I don't like. Did nobody tell her that she needed to get up every morning at X amount of time and feed anything or pull anything? She gets into the pig pen and she's screaming and she's running, and I'm pretty sure it smells to effing high heaven. So she's a better sport than me, because my nice jacket would not have been in that pig pen or around them animals, like taking in that smell. Absolutely not. And so they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to do this every morning. And she's just like, what? I'm just like, what? Are you guys crazy? Like, you guys did this on your own without her. If you need her to like, listen, no, the answer is no. I would not do this. I'm sorry, send me back to Russia. You thought I was gonna come out here and work on your farm? Oh, no, that's not for me. No. I will find a job just like you guys have another job. That's another question I have. If their whole job is breeding dogs and then they have a farm, like what's the point in having a farm if the farm doesn't work for you? Like both Betty and the husband go off to work. To do what? Like what? Or like, why would you own all those animals and have those animals not work for you? I don't understand. Do they just like that? They like the smelly farm situation? Why? So they get into the house and they do a house tour, and this house is jam-packed with Betty's stuff. Her hair is pretty indicative of the wallpaper and the doodads and the baubles. I'm pretty sure there's a room with dolls in them. And there's just a lot of like ivy wallpaper, and it like a farm look, but like a real farm look. The Joanna Gaines and the like Magnolia Farms gives you that like farm look. Like they have that for real, because the mother is, I don't know, it looks like an antique store. So like they go into her room and it is ugly, and then they get into Brandon's room and it does not look like a 27-year-old man's room. It looks like the guest bedroom you would stay in if you came to visit your mother. That's what basically those two rooms look like. And then they show her the iguana and the iguana food. So they just have like crickets in a trash can, but the crickets don't jump out. I want to know what that house smells like, and I want to know how it's cleaned. And I know that there's dogs. Is there a dog or a cat on the inside? Like I'm not with it. Then they eat, and he cooks steak, the dad, and then they sit down to eat, and they're surrounded in like an outside looking area that's like glass. They're surrounded by more junk, and I can't. I just, you know what I mean? I get it. Like my parents are pack rats too, but I cannot move into someone's situation like that. And when I did move into someone's situation like that, I threw a lot of it away. You know, I threw it away because it's an uncomfortable situation. Oh yeah, and I forget, there's a friend named Aspen who comes over with a hairless cat for some reason. I don't know if the cat is for Julia. I don't know exactly what it is. But this is Aspen. Aspen has been taking care of the farm when they go on vacation, and Betty loves Aspen and probably low-key on the inside wishes that Brandon would have married Aspen, okay? So they all sit down to dinner. Aspen's there for some reason. Don't know why. Don't know if they were just making her dinner because she was, you know, feeding the animals while they were gone. I'm not sure if that's her payment. But they're eating steak, and Julia then like goes into her like Shakespeare acting mode, and she's like, oh, I'm so scared with all these animals. I can't sleep alone. And Brandon's like, you can't sleep alone? Mom, Dad, Julia should sleep in my bed. And Julia's like, yes, I'm so scared. I am scared of the darks. Scared. And then the mother's just like, I thought we already settled this. No. I don't understand why you would want to sleep in the same bedroom in our house. Like, it's just disrespectful. Like, I don't get this. And the dad is like, Brandon, if you don't stop asking that question, you need to push back on Julia and let her know that she's respecting our rules, okay? This is our house. And Brandon's like, okay, Dad. And I'm just, whoo. No, I'd have to go. Also, they prayed before dinner, and Julia was like, this is weird, I've only ever seen this on TV. And Betty, of course, prays that Julia will be happy to join their farm family. I mean, it was too much. I was embarrassed for Brandon. I really was. Honestly, he's 27 years old, and if you're letting your 27-year-old son or daughter live in your house, they should be allowed to sleep in the same room as their significant other. I get you, I get it. It's like, it's not me. But if I married somebody, if I brought somebody over from another country and was like, this is my husband, we're getting married, yes, you're sleeping in the same bedroom as me. This ain't some tramp he met at the bar. You know what I'm saying? And if so, if you have all this acreage of land, why don't you just like build him a little like she shed, you know what I'm saying? Like a little studio. Why isn't that an option? This scenario is very confusing to me. So that's the end of them. Let us move on. The next couple that we're gonna talk about is Rebecca and Zied. So as we knew, Zied got his visa. Obviously, they weren't gonna just take his passport to take it. I was telling you guys that like, sounds like when they take your passport, they're gonna put the visa in it so that you have it. So we have this like fake scene of Rebecca walking through a park, checking her iPad. I don't know, she has like, you know, service on it and just checking it and checking it and checking it. It's so interesting to see people walking around with an iPad. I mean, besides children, right? Children play with a tablet. But you know, you see her checking it over and over again, and finally it says that your case was approved and she's very happy. And we see this lovely scene of Zied leaving and his parents just being really like tearful and scared for him. And his father's like, look, I know she's been divorced, which is not how we do it, you know, because if we make vows and commitment, we stay in those vows and commitment. So you need to do the same. Okay, whatever your job is going to be, whatever it is you're choosing your life. And he's like, yeah, heating and cooling, yeah, great, stay married. And Zied's like, okay, mom is just, oh, my baby boy. I only have one son. Sure, Weem's here, but you know, she's kind of a bitch, is basically what happened. That is the end of their segment. Zied is looking better. He's lost a little weight, but yeah, I really have nothing else to report besides I love you so much. Yes. Hello, baby. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy I got my visa. Yes, baby. Yes, I'm so happy I love you, Rebecca. It's right here. This is the spot where there's no glare from my glasses. Can I keep my head like this? No. The next couple that we are going to talk about is Jovi and Yara. All right, so this is what, I don't know, the next day, and Yara's like, this apartment, I hate it. Let's go and get furniture. So Jovi's like, okay, let's go get a mirror because we don't have one of those, and let's go get a rug, I suppose, which are two weird, odd things to get. So they go to this furniture store, and let me tell you, this sales lady was doing the most. She was gonna make her 15 minutes worth it. She literally is, if I were a salesperson, I would be embarrassed. Like, she's doing too much. The one thing as a former shoe salesman that you don't do is get in between a couple. You just like, let them have it, or you try to find something that works for the both of them. I don't know if her name was Liquor, look, it was spelled L-A-Q-U-R-E. Liqueur, I don't know. Miss had the worst panty line of panty lines. I could see her whole underwear through them oddly shaped pants. Let me tell you about this fit that she was wearing, okay? I get it, she didn't know the cameras were coming on today, okay? I hope that she did not, because if she did and she still wore that outfit, there is a taste level that we need to talk about, and you don't need to be selling anybody any kind of furniture, okay, miss? Liqueur had a lot of personality, let me tell you now. So they're looking around at items, and Yara's like, we're looking for a rug, and other thing, because his apartment is stupid. Jovi's like, I got you an apartment in the meatpacking district. And the Liqueur was like, that's really nice. That's expensive, that's nice. And I'm just like, yeah, if you like that kind of like corporate apartment building situation. They have a ton of those in New York City, which I prefer the like older style ones. But you know, it is what it is. Maybe they have like a community gym and like a community center where they can throw parties or whatever. That's what usually those corporate apartment buildings are like. And then when they start to look around at stuff, Jovi immediately gets annoyed. Listen, I understand the spirit that was on Jovi that day, because I can't go shop with anyone. If I'm not purchasing something, or you are not going to listen to what I'm saying, then I don't, why am I here? I'm just gonna sit down. And that's what Jovi should have done. He should have just given her a budget and then sat his ass down, because everything he was saying to Yara was in like pure defense of his bad taste in his apartment. And she's just like, Jovi, why are you saying this? Jovi, you know, this is ugly, I like this. And then Liqueur's like, why you like this. No, Jovi, you're wrong. Do you need a Snickers? Excuse me, ma'am. Do I need a Snickers? Sell me this couch. Can you find a rug that works for both me and my fiance instead of being derisive between the two of us? Do your job, miss. You could have had a whole sale, a whole situation. I don't know if she works on commission, but she could have had a whole sale had she been like, okay, I see you don't like this rug, Jovi, but what about this rug? What about this rug, Yara? Is this something that can go? Okay, you may not like this mirror, Jovi, but what about I mean, girl, come on. Be a salesperson. Nobody asked you in here to be their therapist and to be telling which one is wrong. Talking about you need to go apologize to her. I like the attitude that Jovi was giving back. And I'm glad they didn't shop in there because LaCure, you did too much, especially with your outfit. That sweater was too tight. It looked like the buttons didn't match up. It did though, because I peeped it. I paused it and I peeped it and it did match up, but I didn't like that asymmetrical look. Also, your pants, ma'am, the panty line, ma'am. Shoot, she was doing too much. So they ended up not getting anything. They get into an Uber. They start to argue a little bit. She puts on her shades. Cut to their next segment. They've switched positions in the Uber. He's now wearing a jacket and she doesn't have her shades on and it's night. How long it took them to get home, we'll never know. They both get out of the Uber, don't say shit to the driver, and then he basically slams the door in her face when it comes to getting back into the apartment. And it's not until they get into the apartment and she's crying does he just like melt and stop being a jerk and then hug her and you know they're gonna have good sex afterwards. He also throws away some furniture. And she's just like, Jovi doesn't know how I feel. And he's like, basically she came in and told me my house was and I got a little defensive and I just wanted to be a part of the process. And I'm like, then join the process. Don't just be like, you want to get out of here. And that's the end of that couple. Who else is next? All right, so the next couple that we are going to talk about is Andrew and Amira. So we finally got to the episode where the thing happens. Amira gets detained. So Andrew gets dropped off at the airport by his mother. He's going to Puerto Vallarta. And then Amira gets on the plane and a train to get to wherever she needs to go. But she ends up getting detained in Mexico City. Doesn't know who, doesn't know how, doesn't know why. Andrew finds this information out when he touches down in Puerto Vallarta. He tries to call the dad because that's how he found out, is through her dad. Dad doesn't answer. Then he tries to call the Mexico City security, I guess at the airport, and ask them if they speak English. And I was just like, sir, you don't need to be traveling outside the country if you're gonna call a Spanish-speaking nation and ask the security department if they speak English. No, they don't. Dummy. So basically, I mean, what is there to say? The thing that they have been like baiting us for actually happened. She's gotten detained, and it's because Andrew forced a situation that shouldn't have been forced. Poor Amira. Coronavirus okay? This is June of 2020. This is the midst of the coronavirus. Maybe she wasn't supposed to fly to Mexico. Maybe all of North America had that whole like you can't fly. I don't know, girl. I don't know. All right, so the next couple that we are going to talk about is a new couple, Ryan and Stephanie. Okay, so Ryan and Stephanie. So we meet Stephanie. I can't even say mama because she's not. But this woman has on some kind of like fluorescent glasses that like stop some kind of something from like going into her brain so that she can sleep at night. And she's practicing on what looks like a weighted hula hoop because she wants to break the Guinness Book of World Record hula hooping, whatever, and it's 100 hours. She wants to hula hoop for 100 hours or break that record. And I'm just like, to each his own. And she has a cat. She loves that cat, okay? She loves that cat. She's laying on the ground wanting that cat to come towards her. The cat doesn't, okay? And she talks to that cat like it's a baby, even though she's had it for like, what, 27 years? I don't know how long. Anyways, so she is a self-professed forever bachelorette. She's never wanted to get married and she's never wanted kids. And she's put everything that she's had into her two businesses. And her two businesses basically running these spas. I mean, in my opinion, doesn't know what to do with the money because if I owned that much, I would have like such a lavish lifestyle. But you know, that's me. It basically does like reversing of the age process. Like she's sunk all her money into getting women to come into her spa so they can try to reverse age, which is like what happens when you reach my age, right? People just want to reverse their age. And so that's what she's been working on. She's had some work done to her face and it looks a little spongy, which is what happens when women have all that work done to their face, I've noticed. I also think that she's been taking like Quaaludes or something because she's real drowsy-eyed in the confessionals. Just a real slow talker and a slow blinker. You know what I'm saying? Just a real, like there's a droopy eye situation happening as well. So, you know, I'm watching Stephanie. I'm watching you, you know, for your daytime opiates, ma'am. She is 52 years old and she's dating Ryan, who's 27 years old, and he's from Ladyville, Belize. And he's not my ethnicity, so I don't take any credit for his scamandry. She met him and she said that she fell in love. She has a lot of walls up around her because she had a very tumultuous childhood. And so she's just like wanting to like do her own thing and live her own life, you know? And so she usually goes to Belize like 2 to 3 times a year to visit him, but the coronavirus has put a pause on everything. And Ryan is acting out. She hasn't been there. She hasn't been able to pay him much attention. And so he's just kind of like doing his own thing, not answering her phone calls. And they've been seeing each other for about 3 years. She's been paying for a lot for like 3 years. So she gets on the phone and calls his mother, Dorla. And Dorla's like, yeah, Ryan's good. You know, I talked to him this afternoon. And she's like, okay, just wanted to make sure, you know, he's okay. And even though she is 5 years older than Dorla, Stephanie feels like Dorla is like her elder because Dorla has 7 kids, and so she has so much responsibility in life, and so like, what must that be like? Oh, she finds out that Ryan's okay. She calls over her psychic. Her and her psychic have a conversation. The cards are being drawn, you know, energies are being felt. Psychic basically says you got to watch out for Ryan because he's got other women. And Stephanie's like, well, we've had issues like that in the past. One time I looked at his phone, saw that he was talking to 3 different women, got upset and slept with his cousin Harris, who's got a really good spirit. And like, you know, Harris was just there because I was gonna leave, but he's like, no, stay, be my sugar mama. And Harris just has such a loving soul. And I'm just like, Harris and Ryan look like 2 boys. Okay? Both of them are trying to get this white lady to pay for everything, scamming as hell. And she's just like, okay with it. Which I'm okay if she's okay. Also, Stephanie sounds Canadian. Like the way she says about and the way she says Harris, I mean, I know she's from Michigan, so like that's like, you know, north, but she sounds north, you know what I'm saying? She's sounding a little Canadian. But yeah, anyways, that's the deal with them. Stephanie, this is going to be an interesting ride. Especially, it's especially interesting to know she's been talking to Ryan for 2 or 3 years and that he's been acting funny because of coronavirus and she hasn't been able to get him on the line. Oh, she did get him on the line, and he said that he was making coconut rice for his friends, so he had to go fishing to get the fish. It's believable, but like, I mean, you could call your girlfriend back, right? The hula hoop took me out. Oh, and the part where she was feeding her cat yogurt. I mean, that cat does not want anything to do with Stephanie unless she has something for him. And that's the exact way I feel about Ryan. Nothing to do with her unless she has something for him. And it's sad. This is going to be hard to watch, I think. I don't think there's going to be anything funny about them as a couple. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this recap. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below. Like, Ryan and Stephanie are weird, no? Put a grandma emoji down there if you think that's weird. Because Stephanie, like, meh? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and share this video on any social media platform that you deem fit. You guys have a fantastic week. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. New Year's is coming up. The next time I'm going to see you is in the New Year's, and I wish you guys a safe New Year's weekend, okay? It's still coronavirus out there. Don't go out there acting a fool thinking that it's over because 2020 is done and get yourself and your family sick, okay? Still stay safe. And I will see you in the year 2021. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.